Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome back to the Good Doctor After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we are breaking down Season 2, Episode 5, Carrots. Who's your carrot? We've got an apartment. An apartment was being bought. Glassman walks and Claire and Melendez butt heads. Yikes! Stick around.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
All right, everyone. All right. So this episode is obviously named Carrots. Carlina had a great idea of trying to find a song about carrots, and we found the best song in the world. Oh, it's just, oh, it's amazing. But what's up, guys? I'm Veronica, Valencia, and to my left we have...
Hey, guys, it's me, Carlina Will.
Unfortunately, Tequila could not be here with us tonight, but she is here in spirit.
Yes.
And of course, coming up later in the show, we are going to be talking all about Shaun and Lea's relationship. They're getting an apartment together. We're going to be talking about Claire and Melendez completely kicking her off her team, Glassman and Debbie reconnecting, as well as our special segment, Shaun Says, because Shaun was funny this episode. He had some great one-liners, so we're going to be picking some of our top ones. But before we get into that, Carlina, overall thoughts on this episode?
Overall thoughts. Oh my gosh, I love this episode. First of all, Shaun's sense of humor just cracks me up. But there was some serious issues that was highlighted tonight, surrounding anorexia and opening up to your partner about your medical history. So, and then, like we said, Glassman's love interest came back. So I'm excited to dig into that.
I'm so excited to dig into that because I know in the past couple episodes we were talking, like, where did she go? She just kind of left. And granted, he had a very severe medical condition. He had brain surgery, so I can understand her kind of ducking out. But it was so nice to see her, and I'm very glad to get back into that. I agree. This episode, I liked how this episode kind of had two similar cases. Like, one of them was dealing with the anorexic patient. The other one was opening up to your partner. But also, he had, I guess, body image. Could we classify this as like body image issues as well?
I wouldn't say body image issues. I would just say he had difficulty losing weight due to probably genetics.
Yeah.
I think it was mostly a genetic thing because certain things, they only offer you gastric bypass if, you meet with a nutritionist and they put you on a weight loss plan and it's not working. So it's very slim, the people who are allowed to get that surgery.
Let's dive into that right now. So that is the case this week for Shaun, Dr. Park, and Dr. Lim. And right off the bat, so this guy obviously needs a surgery, and Dr. Park and Dr. Lim kind of go back and forth. Dr. Park is kind of saying he lost weight the easy way, whereas Dr. Lim is kind of commending him.
Yeah.
What was your opinion? Like, were you leaning towards one way or the other?
Here's the thing. Over 300 pounds, it's going to be really hard to lose weight without gastric bypass or anything like that. I would say for the people who, it depends. I would say if you're talking about surgery, the easy way out, that's more liposuction. Because you could lose weight, but you just don't want to. You're like, I just do it that way. So that is more of an easier route. But gastric bypass is like it's very serious because, doctors have to connect your stomach to, or essentially like your intestines. It's crazy because it cuts down, they put a balloon in and it makes your stomach smaller so you get full quicker. It's riskier, than losing weight. I'm sure they would rather you go to the gym and put you on a nutrition plan. So I don't agree with him saying that was the easy way out. I think that was the life-saving way out to save his life.
I agree. I did not agree with Dr. Park and thinking it was the easy way out because I could only imagine, I would assume that before anyone can really consider gastric bypass, they have to have gone on some kind of diet plan. They had to have met with a nutritionist. I'm sure for someone who is overweight, that's the first thing that they go to when they meet with a medical expert is, we're going to get you on a new diet plan, we're going to get you exercising, and we're going to try and bring down this weight naturally. It's not like he woke up one morning and said, I'm going to get gastric bypass surgery and everything like that. So I kind of didn't agree that he was just like, oh, it's the easy way out, because even after getting that surgery, I was looking it up, you still have to really maintain it. You have to make sure that you're eating healthy. You need to make sure that you're exercising. Because if not, then you're going to have a lot of complications with the surgery, and it's not even going to do its job really in helping you shed the weight. So it's a very extensive surgery, and it's very, I would say, it's not easy to maintain. It's not easy to really come across because obviously you would probably want to lose weight the natural way. So I didn't agree with him in the slightest. I was more like with Dr. Lim, where like, good for him. He made the change in his life.
Absolutely. And I also recommend, like, if you want to lose weight, there's different, getting your blood tested because, based on your genetics, there's certain foods that work with your body and certain foods that don't work with your body. So being cooking with Carlina. No, seriously. But you just want to
that's
make sure.
interesting. Like bringing in your
like
cooking.
There's certain food. No, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, because if there are people who are like, you know what, this type of, every time I eat this, I'm always bloated. And I'm like, well, according to your genetics, like blueberries make you bloated. So you might want to cut back on blueberries. And then they realize their stomach gets smaller. So it's also what you're putting in your body. It's not, I wouldn't say not necessarily fat, but most of the time it's, oh God, we'll get to Shaun talking about bowel movements, but it's gas. It's mostly gas that makes people really big and bloated. So you got to cut those foods out that make you gassy. Sorry, people.
Well, I was going to say, what did we want to say about Shaun's bowel movements? Oh, with Glassman?
That is actually a requirement. It's a requirement if you've been in the hospital for a while. It's really weird, but they require you to do that right after surgery. Yeah.
It's true. Like, we've obviously known people who have been in and out of the hospitals, and it's either, yes, a bowel movement, or at the very least, passing gas.
Yes.
We got into a really weird time. It's part of the show. It's part of the show. That's totally what had to happen.
That is what happens.
Oh gosh. But yeah, so this patient needs to have surgery.
Yes.
And his husband comes in, and he doesn't want his husband to know that he had the gastric bypass.
Yes.
What did we think about, like, your initial reaction of like, oh, why don't you think he wants to tell the husband, his life partner?
Oh my gosh, for me this was really hard, which I definitely want to hear your thoughts on it about. Because usually what they say in a relationship is like you mention like the big major moments and then you just move on with your life with that person. If he didn't feel comfortable sharing that with his husband, then I don't mean to be shady or anything, but maybe he married the wrong person, Yeah. And I could kind of see that towards the end where he was like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have known that he could get that big again. Like, that's a shady person. He, if this was like reality show, I'd be like, move on and get somebody else.
Yeah.
But seriously, what it comes down to is marry somebody who you're okay with, like they're okay
Who you're
with your
comfortable
past,
with,
and comfortable with, but they're also okay with your past. So,
and that was a big thing because we just got done talking about how this was a life-changing and possibly life-saving surgery for him. So it was a good thing. It's not like he had some shady past that he was hiding from his partner. It was just that he was overweight at one point. And I totally agree. I think that the partner, like if you can't tell the partner about this life-changing experience, then you probably need to reevaluate your relationship. And it also came more clear later on in the episode where he was being called out for making, I guess you could say, fat-shaming comments of their friends. And I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
I totally get why later on in the episode, once they broke it down a little bit more, why he was keeping it a secret, but they definitely need to like reevaluate.
Okay, well, I'll play devil's advocate on the opposite side of his partner. He should have told him because if he planned to have kids, like obesity is sometimes a genetic thing. So if he was wondering like, why is his kid so big? Like he wouldn't have known because, his partner got gastric, So just be honest. Like, listen, everybody gets like cosmetic surgeries, surgeries to save their lives. If it's going to affect the future of your family, you should say something.
I agree. And it seemed like the partner would have been accepting because we saw how, what's the word I'm looking for? We saw how concerned he was, even going up to Dr. Park. And I would almost kind of being like, saying like, rude in a sense because he's like, oh, here are these doctors here, but I checked with these experts to like double check you kind of thing. Did you think that was being rude?
No,
or?
I did it.
You did it?
I did it with my dad. Yeah, because sometimes it depends. Like sometimes they think they're going in the right direction, or if you Google something, it might be something like, oh, the doctor didn't think of that, and it helps. So I think it's good. Just maybe not come on as aggressive as he did, but just be like, hey, I did some research. Maybe, if this isn't working, we should try this. But if the doctor's like, well, he hasn't seen his chart, and go talk to your husband, then it's like not your research. You really need to talk to like your significant other.
I was gonna say Dr. Lim made a comment about how she like Dr. Park breached confidentiality. Do you think that really counted? I feel like
To go talk to your partner?
that line.
It was not really, because he didn't say
it.
But he did hint at it. So he's not breaching contract, but he definitely like upset a patient for sure. That's what I can do.
Yeah, I feel like with this particular couple, they were not going to stay at St. Bonaventure's at all, though. Like, even if the partner came off as more aggressive, I felt like from that moment, it was like, yeah, we're taking our business somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I think what it all comes down to is they just really needed to have better communication, the couple.
I hope he leaves him.
And then at the very end, the last scene with Dr. Park, I didn't fully understand it. I don't know if maybe you got better context from it.
What, when
he was on the phone.
Wait, oh, that scene. I don't really know. I don't know. If somebody in the comments knows, like, you know, who's watching, please let us know. Because I was a little confused about that, too.
Yeah. Maybe it's just because we don't know. Granted, we don't know a whole lot of everybody's backstory. We get bits and pieces throughout the series, but I feel like this is the first time we maybe really heard more about Dr. Park, so maybe that sequence was just confusing.
Wait, well, they did talk about divorcing. What if that's his ex-wife?
That's
the ex-wife.
That was a good line, and that's coming up later on in the show.
Shaun, Shady Shaun.
So, Shaun, Shady Shaun. Speaking of Shaun, Shaun is getting himself into a whole heap of shenanigans that we're going to get into. But before we get into any of that, Carlina has a special announcement for everybody.
I absolutely do. Hey, AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check it out on our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did in the comments, and well, thank you. V will say, like, you're amazing. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Thank you, Carlina.
Yes.
All right, Shaun and Lea. They got an apartment.
They did.
Oof.
I was on her side, though.
You were?
In the beginning.
Okay.
In the beginning.
I want to hear your opinions on this. Go.
Okay. In the beginning, I was on her side. And I'll tell you why. Because she was like, no, I don't want to live with you. I was like, yes, Lea, girl, get it. Don't be. Because I don't want her and Shaun to be together. That was like my whole thing. I think we
all agree on this panel that we did not want them to be together.
So when she said she didn't want to live with him, I was so excited. I was like, Shaun gets to move on. And then Shaun's throwing a hissy fit, and I'm like, Shaun, stop this, Shaun. But I could see for Shaun's growth as a character, he does need to learn to be around and cohabit with other people, like have a roommate. So for that aspect, I agree, but I don't want Lea dating him.
I agree.
Just be his friend.
I don't want Lea dating him. I think since the beginning when she showed up, I was like, I don't want this anymore. And especially with just how back and forth their relationship has been. It's like, one minute, Lea is very upset at Shaun when Shaun has every reason to be upset at her, and then Shaun's mopey because Lea doesn't want to move in with him. It's very back and forth, but I'm just worried because he claims, I will be able to handle if you bring someone home. I will be able to handle if I walk in on you naked.
Lies, all lies.
All lies. I feel like Shaun is that person in the world that when he falls for someone easy and he falls for someone hard, and that Lea is Lea.
Yeah.
It's his carrot.
She is his carrot.
But
you saw how expensive that apartment looked?
Oh, it looked fancy.
I can't believe.
He's a medical resident.
Yeah, but
he can afford it.
Go for Shaun.
But I just think it's bad. I think he's gonna see like, oh, I can handle it, and in his own way, he's gonna be thinking that he can handle it. But I think he's gonna be falling harder because I don't think Lea is going to caution herself. I think she's gonna be her natural self living in that apartment. I don't think she's really gonna like take a step back and say like, okay, I gotta watch out for Shaun, because that's how she always was when she was introduced. She was like, I'm just gonna treat you like a normal person. I'm gonna be myself with you. And everyone else would kind of be cautious around him. So I think that's how it's going to be in the apartment, but I feel like that's just going to cause a lot of confusion for Shaun.
What if, like, wait, this would be so cool if, like, you know, look at me going into predictions. She starts falling for Shaun, and Shaun has somebody else.
Ooh, I would like that, actually.
I would love that.
I would like that.
They're filming right now. Do it.
Do it. I don't know why I would want that storyline of like the girl trying to fight for the guy, because it's just like, oh, you know, you don't necessarily want that storyline. But I just
she turned him down.
I know.
She has to fight for him. We can't make it easy for her.
Well, I think I'm just gonna put my foot down and say it all together. I just don't want them to be together. I think that is for the absolute best. But I do agree with you. I hope that by living together, Shaun is not able to get into that dangerous situation of becoming too attached to her, and he is able to just live with someone and be able to be around someone other than being at the hospital.
Yes.
I think that is very important for his character development.
Shaun. Oh, real quick, Jazzy41173 says, going back to, is it Dr. Park?
Dr. Park?
Yeah, saying he called his ex, checked that she got the alimony, then brought up that since she wasn't with the guy he caught her with, if they could try again. That's what that call was. Thank you.
Oh, now that has registered, I'm really gonna wonder what was like.
Yeah.
It obviously had to be the couple that made him decide maybe we can try again, right? Like by seeing their communication. I know we're taking a step back.
We are. But like, no, that was an important scene. We wanted to clear it up for you guys.
We did.
What was happening. I'm just excited to see where it goes. Like, there's so much questions. She's on alimony, but she's the one that cheated. Y'all see my face?
A lot of things that we got to clear up.
I'm just saying.
So many things that we need to clear up. All right, we should probably go into our next case, which is Claire, Melendez, and Morgan. But before we get into them, I just want to take a moment to remind everyone about iTunes. Of course, you could always check us out on YouTube, as Carlina had mentioned, but you can also catch us on iTunes. Please rate, review, and subscribe. We love seeing your comments. It's what allows us to keep doing this. We love talking about the show. We want you to discuss more. We want to give you shout outs. So please go there and listen. Go to YouTube and watch us. We appreciate all of it. So thank you so much. Claire, Melendez, and Morgan.
Whew. Help me.
All right, so this is where we get into the patient with anorexia.
Yes.
And they have to replace her valve. And I felt like Claire shined in this moment with bringing up the kind of experimental brain surgery. What did you think?
I heard about the surgery, which I think is a great...
Oh, previously you had heard about it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I have. And I think it's great. It's, you know, people are finally taking mental illness seriously, and, you know, to have a surgery that fixes that, or not completely fix it, but that can try to fix it, hopefully, because I know they're still in like some of the testings, and there's like a few surgeries that are approved. I think that's a great thing. But for this case, I'm okay. I know I could see it in your eyes. You said you agree with Claire. I don't, because just the risk, just with that end scene where it looked like it affected something else, like some emotion with her husband. Like, I hope it was real for him. Just because the side effects, you know, in a surgery like that. But I get the patient wanted it. I get it. But, you know, her valve's still not fixed. So that's what I got to say about that one.
I feel like we get a lot of those kind of in these cases where, you know, she can't have the surgery because she's too weak, and they try to give her some type of nutrition and she can't do it. And I agree. I'm very happy that the show is bringing to light the mental illness, because I feel maybe a few years ago and maybe even now, people don't realize anorexia is a deep psychiatric issue that affects tons of people. I had actually done some research on many eating disorders, and there are so many. We can get into those a little bit later, other than just the main one that we're talking about now.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the moment, I was very proud of Claire, because I liked that she was trying to think outside the box and find a way to help this patient. Yeah. But I think what it came down to, I didn't agree with the way she went about it, which was the main thing about this particular case, was she went around Melendez to the patient.
I don't like that.
I was about to say, did you agree?
No, that's disrespectful. That's your boss, you know? I agree with Melinda. I don't know about kicking her off the team, but I think this was like the second time. This was her second offense.
Second offense?
Second offense with Melendez. So, yeah, she did deserve to be kicked off because it looks like Claire beats to the, they did say speak up, but there's also respect. And we talked about that the last. Claire's not listening. And look what happened. I think I even mentioned it. I said if she keeps it up, she's going to get fired. Look what happened. Well, she's not fired. She's just
off the team.
She's off the team. So hopefully another team picks her up. Hopefully. But yeah, just respect your boss. Like, you have opinions. Like, it's cool. Like, she presented it to him. And then he was like, no, I don't feel okay with that. Because he has been doing it for a while. But what she's starting to see is that it had a side effect. And that's probably like what he was like.
That's what he was most afraid of.
Just anything with the brain, you really have to be careful and double check. Like, I'm just saying, if, my supervisor, we're in surgery and he's like, I don't agree. And I'm trying to, instead of doing a heart surgery, do a brain surgery. I'm going to go for the heart surgery. I'm sorry. I'd be like, girl, we're putting that tube right back down your throat. We're going to get through this. If not, I need you to sign this waiver, because if you die, you die.
I was going to ask, because the last, I don't know if it was exactly the last episode, but we had talked about the mother who had the son and she felt guilty. It was that idea of mothers feeling guilty and judged if they can't give their all to their children. And we were speaking, like, we can't speak because we're not mothers, but... Yeah. I'm wondering, from that perspective, what would you choose? Would you risk the brain surgery to try and be healthy for your son? Or would you risk the brain surgery, I guess? I think I phrased that wrong. You would want to take the brain surgery because you want to be healthy enough to spend time with your son, but then you're also risking having your relationship change. That's what I was trying to say.
What I was going to say... I think I would have, because she proved that she could do it if she put her mind to it, because she had her son. I would probably just suck it up and try to do the tube until after surgery, and then after surgery, once they fix my heart, try to then do the brain surgery. You know what I mean? There's just so much, because the heart thing is also pressing. Like, she's going to have to go right back in, in a few weeks. So... that's what I would have done. It's for me, it's so hard with this topic, because it's like, yes, it's definitely like a mental illness, but she's proven she could overcome it before, So that's why I'm, I guess, a little bit less sympathetic, because I'm like, you've done it. It's not like she's never done it.
You had the motivation to do it.
You've done the motivation, and then this surgery is great, of course, but it's just like you could have just eaten your soup and your applesauce and go through the surgery, and then have Claire explain to you after you got your heart surgery if you wanted to do this other surgery. So.
It is kind of interesting how that didn't work for her in this case, how her son was there the entire time seeing her, and her son was kind of blunt too about, like, oh, this is why you're sick, because you're doing this to yourself, and that wasn't motivation enough to suck it up. So, I mean... I just wonder what it would have taken at that point if that wasn't enough. I guess we won't know, but...
We wouldn't know. I think she would have done the tube again. Yeah. They said she wanted to do it again.
I guess.
And then Claire found another way. That's what happened. Because remember, they said that. They said she was going to do the tube again. And she just wanted you to put restraints on her.
I do remember that. So that way she wouldn't take it out this time. But no, Claire has a good heart, and she wants to help patients, but I do agree that going behind Melendez's back to the patient was inappropriate. And I don't think she fully explained, like, what all the major side effects were. She was just like, this could help you and make you healthy again. However, something is confusing me, and I really want to get your opinion on it.
Yes.
So Melendez clearly says, I like it when my residents are passionate and fight for something. And that's clearly what Claire was doing.
Yeah.
And he voted for her.
Yeah.
But I am so curious of what was it about that presentation that made him vote for her when he was denying her the entire time.
It was a lesson.
You think it was a lesson?
It was absolutely a lesson because we already saw, I don't think this story's done with this patient. We saw that she's kind of, maybe her emotions. I hope they bring this patient back because she still has to have her heart surgery. But you could see that, like, it had some side effects. And then Melendez, removed her from the team. But also him giving her permission to do it gave him grounds. Like, he's like, I know this isn't going to work. So now I have the grounds to remove her from my team. He was plotting, and I love it.
But do you think that's professional? To possibly risk a patient like that to prove a point? It's tricky.
Other than that, Claire would continue her behavior. You know what I mean? There's sometimes you got to stop it. But I don't think he's risking the patient. The patient asked for the surgery. She put her own self at risk. So he's cleared.
So he's cleared?
Yeah. This patient asked for it. So he was able to use it for grounds to get rid of Claire. And she walked right into that trap. It was good to see. I need Claire to fall because I need her to...
You need her to better understand.
Yeah, I need her to have respect for her bosses. There's such thing as standing up as a woman, but there's also a line of showing respect,
I think Claire's just trying too hard right now to prove herself as a surgeon. And it's like, you are still technically a medical resident. This is your time to learn and to grow. You don't have to try every single episode with every single case to outshine your mentors. Like, you can have great ideas and fight for them, which is what they want, but you can't always have it your way. And I think she needs to learn that. And obviously she did learn that. And I don't know if another team will pick her up right away. I wonder if she'll just kind of float in between cases. Because I don't even know what other team would pick her up or like what she would be doing unless you have predictions about that.
Dr. Lim's team?
Dr. Lim's team could, but would that be too crowded? I'm not entirely sure how.
I don't know. That's the only other team.
Numbers work.
That's the only team that she could be on.
Yeah.
Or she's moving.
I don't know. I wouldn't want her to move because I feel like moving would mean we wouldn't see her as a character, and I need to see her more as a character because I need her to see her learn. Yeah.
But Dr. Lim. That's my prediction.
But Dr. Lim. I do like Dr. Lim's team, though.
Dr. Lim's just like her.
Stubborn. We saw that. And we had a big old discussion with the female circumcision episode. They are very like, ooh, that would butt heads. Like, if Melendez and Claire butt heads, ooh, that would even be 10 times worse because they are alike.
But would it put Claire in her place, though? It would.
I don't know, would it?
Yeah. Because if she can't fit on Lim's team, she's probably gone. Andrews would be like, bye. You already saw what he did with complicated people.
You think Lim would have less patience for her?
Oh, yeah. No, Lim is like, she's all about woman empowerment, but she's like, know your place, girl. Sit down. Yeah. So I think Claire would just learn, like, oh, I can't do that. Because Melendez lets a lot of things slide. He smiles and then talks to you after, but Lim calls you out right there on the spot. And you can tell, like, that embarrasses Claire a little bit. She doesn't like being called out on the spot in front of people. And
she doesn't. Morgan has called her out a few times, and you can tell she doesn't enjoy it.
Yeah. Put her on Lim's team.
Campaigning right now to put Claire on Lim's team. We need to see this right now.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, so now let's talk about Glassman, because every single episode we get a little bit more of his improvement. Now he's finally stopped seeing his daughter. And this entire episode is Shaun, take a bowel movement, Glassman, get up and walk. My leg hurts. What did we think about Glassman this episode? He's not trying.
No, you guys got to realize he had brain surgery. Like, he had a brain tumor. That takes a lot from being an active man, running a hospital, to being on bed rest, to finally when they're like, okay, you're cleared to get up and walk. Like, you're just like, that's just a lot in a short amount of time, right? So when you've been in bed rest for a while, to get up to walk the first time, that's scary. Like, for me, I remember that, like, when I injured my ankle, the first time they asked me to, like, walk without the boot, I was like, no, I don't want to, so you're kind of scared a little bit. But I love that Shaun brought his carrot to encourage him to get out of bed. That was so cute. And I'm glad she's back. We made that prediction. Why isn't she back? Was that our last episode?
I think that was our last episode.
You know what? I have a prediction. I think they didn't air an episode last week because they wanted to come back and reshoot that scene and bring her back.
Because it's because of us.
It's because of us.
Yes. I'm so happy to see her. And this entire episode, Shaun kept talking with with Glassman's doctor, and her whole thing was he doesn't like being seen as weak and being seen as taken care of by the people who have worked under him for so many years, which I think is true.
Yeah.
I think Glassman, while in the first season seemed like a very nice character, I feel like he's more of a proud man than he lets on to be, obviously. But I totally agree with that. I think he's just very stubborn, and he doesn't want people to see him this way. And what I almost found kind of heartbreaking was when Shaun brought Debbie, and he was like, she's a better friend than me. I felt so sad because I'm like, no. I think Shaun was just too much of a doctor. I don't think he was maybe enough of a friend. I think he was too much of a doctor. You need to do this because of X, Y, and Z. Whereas like she's like, okay, we're gonna do it. I took care of this person. Oh, let's talk like friends. You know. I think that's what it was. But that broke my heart a little bit because I was like, you are a good friend, Shaun.
I was like, oh, Shaun. That's why he needs a roommate so he can work on his communication.
Yes, he does need to work on his communication. He does need to get out of doctor mode a lot because that's where he always seems to go.
He does.
And so he needs normal friends. But again, we will see. Hopefully that doesn't get too
serious,
too crazy. But I'm happy that Debbie is back in Glassman's life, and I hope that...
I want to see a romance, bud, between them. That's so cute.
I think it's possible. I do.
Yeah. She's going to be there for him, I think, for his recovery.
I would think it would be so bad if they brought her back and then kind of like have her drift in and out of the season. I feel like she needs to be a little consistent.
She does.
Because I do feel like she's going to be a major point in his recovery.
I agree.
So many exciting things. So many things that we are saying coming true because they listen to us.
They do.
But
They're
now
watching.
They are. But now we're going to go into our special segment. So we're bringing this new segment. It's the first time we're doing this. We are calling it Shaun Says.
Shaun Says.
This episode, in particular, more than any of the other episodes, Shaun was on fire with his one-liners. He was so good. We always know Shaun's very blunt, but sometimes that blunt can be like, ooh, and other times it's just really funny. So Carlina and I have written down some of our favorite Shaun quotes.
Yes.
Would you like to start?
Okay, first of all, my favorite one is about when he's talking to Debbie and he's like, yep, he also needs to do a bowel movement while he's picking out a muffin. Like, you don't talk about that around food. I'm going to tell you right now, if you come to my house talking about, like, food and bowel movements, you're not invited. Like, what? I was like, Shaun, you cannot do that. And then my second favorite was, he said, marriage must have been hard. If you want to finish that,
it's great. It was marriage sounds confusing. No wonder why you both failed at it. Ooh, burn.
That was awful.
Burn.
But you know what? It is hard. I don't know how to save Shaun from that one. The bowel movement one, you're just like,
good.
okay, just don't, say that around food. It's okay, out of context,
Yeah.
And to Dr. Glassman's like love interest, that was super embarrassing. But Shaun can recover from that one. The marriage one, I don't know how he can recover from that one.
I don't think he necessarily needs to, because I think it was just a really funny line. Like, it's one of those sarcastic things that you say. I felt like in that moment, he wasn't, like, he was just being like a funny person. Like, oh, haha, we're all laughing. Burn.
They weren't laughing.
They weren't laughing.
They were not laughing.
We were, though.
I was just like this.
I also really liked the line, Debbie is a better carrot. I liked it, but then I know I also just talked about how I was very sad that he kind of said he wasn't the better friend. But I do like that Shaun is acknowledging that someone else can be there for Glassman as well. And it doesn't fall on him, and he's learning, which is great. And then this line, we can help deceive your husband. When he was talking to the patient, I loved it.
That's the best doctor ever. We can help deceive your husband. Absolutely.
Wouldn't you love a doctor to say that to you?
They're not.
They're really not. Though.
No. I'm not even going to try to put them in that situation. I would love a doctor to tell me, you don't have to pay your copay. I got it covered. Say that.
Oh, I would love that. Help me out.
Yes.
And then I know earlier we were talking about one of our cases with the anorexic patient, and I had mentioned that there are more eating disorders than we really thought. I could definitely go through those real quickly. Obviously, there's anorexia and bulimia, which are the two big ones that I feel like a lot of people know. There's also something called binge eating disorder. It's just reoccurring episodes of binge eating, and you lack control of eat, like the control while you're eating, you can't really stop. There's restrictive food intake disorder, which is you're just unable to meet your nutritional or energy needs. There's, I think it's pica, eating something with no nutritional value, such as cotton or clay, for at least a month. So they're eating, but they're eating these weird things to not gain weight, I guess, which is a thing.
Where are they living?
That I'm not sure.
If they're in America, I'm really upset.
Yeah, these were the categories that I saw of the different types of eating disorder. And then there's rumination disorder, which is regurgitation of food for at least a month, re-chewing, re-swallowing, or spitting out food.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I felt like when I had first heard about eating disorders, it was mainly anorexia or bulimia, but clearly it has evolved and it is a deep mental health.
I've heard about the binge eating now.
Binge eating?
Yeah, I heard about that one.
Was there more to that that you might know?
Literally, it's because it is when people binge eat, it's usually connected to a mental illness because they're usually binge eating is connected to depression.
Okay.
So that's their form of coping, how they cope. You know, like some people drink, some people smoke, some people binge eat. So they just overeat, and it's usually linked to depression. So it's sad, but I've heard of it, yeah.
That's some really useful information.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a lot more to keep your eye on now. And then obviously on this website you can go there and they have all the signs. So it's always good to know what to look out for. But those were just some of the things for some background information on one of our cases. We did Shaun Said. Now let's go into some quick predictions for next week's episode. I felt like we already got into it a little bit.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, what do we think?
Oh my gosh, so many. I think I gave a lot.
I feel like we already did a lot of predictions.
I know, so it's okay if it's like really, really quick. Okay, Shaun and Lea, we're obviously going to see them like work together as friends, and we'll see if something develops more. But I definitely think Shaun's going to be more okay than Lea thinks with her just being friends. Because I'm hoping that Shaun gets another love interest or something like that. And then she's like, wait, I want Shaun. So that's what I predict for that one. Claire's going to go to Dr. Lim's team. But Dr. Lim's going to learn to put her in her place. Let her know the difference between standing up for yourself and respecting your, boss. Glassman is going to continue to develop his relationship with Debbie. And she'll help with his recovery and take care of him. And that's what I have.
I agree. I definitely want to see more between Glassman and Debbie. I would love to see a relationship form and see how Glassman goes with her living this new life post-surgery, post-being a surgeon. I would love to see Claire go to Lim's team, but Claire going to Lim's team, I would love to see someone from Lim's team going with Melendez. So I would love to see Shaun go to Melendez's team and try and work with Morgan. And I feel like we might see that because in the preview for next episode, we see a lot of Morgan and Shaun, and she's like, you have to learn how not to scare patients or something like that, which I think she makes a very fair point. I feel like Shaun is not the best at delivering intense news sensitively.
No.
So I definitely agree with her. I'm hoping that Shaun will work better on his delivery skills, especially when delivering very intense news. And I think for Shaun and Lea, I'm just honestly hoping that their relationship doesn't get too out of hand. I don't want them to be together, but I hope that them living together is not too over dramatic.
Okay.
I don't know. I want them to be able to grow. I feel like it would be nice if we just saw them grow. See Shaun grow with the roommates, see Lea have someone that she can confide in.
We're talking about Shaun and Lea, right?
Yes.
Who's already had so much drama before.
Well, this is what I'm hoping. I know that they have drama, but I am hoping that they will just be able to live together because I don't know. I feel like the most drama I can see is just them trying to be like, I don't want to be with you, but I want to be with you, and I don't want that at all. So I'd rather them just be happy living in an apartment together.
Okay, let's real quick get fan predictions. Billie Jean Girl 24 says, I predict that Lea is going to grow feelings for Shaun and freak out and leave. And
No, she
Jazz
did that.
41173 says, Morgan is in trouble, it seems, but you guys will probably like that. According to that, V would like that.
See, I will definitely say that there are more moments where Morgan really irritates me, but I feel like in that promo, she just made such a good statement and she had such a good point. I'm like, you want to know what, Morgan? If this is a tough love learning situation for Morgan, I'll be happy because I feel like Claire, Morgan is someone who also kind of needs to be put in her place a little bit.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Good.
So we'll see. We're going to have them grow, which is what I am really excited to see. Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today. Carlina, where can the fans find you on the internet?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Cook with Carlina, and then everywhere else at Cooking with Carlina. Halloween's right around the corner, and then I got Thanksgiving recipes and Christmas coming up. So if you need cool recipes, check it out.
You can find Sequela on Instagram at Sequela_IM.
Yep.
And again, I'm Veronica Valencia. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at It's Me, Veronica_V. You can also catch me Wednesdays on the Survivor After Show at 10 p.m. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are so happy to do this show for you every week. Be sure you tune in next week. See ya.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.